Hi everybody, welcome to this week's mentality tip. Now, hopefully everybody's been able to follow along with the mentality tips, and what I've done up until this point has really started to just been laying out the structure for you guys. The fact that understand that no matter what happens, every bit of information that we process throughout the course of a day, it formulates a perception, which really translates into formulating a belief. And from our perceptions or our beliefs, I mean, basically, again, we're asking ourselves always, what does this mean to us? How does this affect us? Based off that, it formulates a perception or a belief, which leads us to a feeling. Now, the feelings, we have different levels of emotional intensity with those. We can have a very low, we can have a medium or moderate, or we can have a very high level of emotional intensity. That's going to reflect on what we and how we perceive this thing as affecting us personally or those around us. And from our feelings, with the different levels of emotional intensity, that is going to directly affect our actions. Last week I really talked about the fact that you have different types of beliefs. You can have a specific belief, you can have a global belief, and you can have an identity belief. Now that we've kind of laid this out, this is just really giving you guys kind of a loose framework for how this process really happens. You know, there's definitely a little bit more to it, but it's enough that we can work with in the 10-minute videotapes. What I also started with last time was I talked about an absolute beginning. And really one of the core warrior beliefs, one of the fundamental core warrior beliefs, or the absolute beginning, was the belief that warriors are trained, nurtured, and developed day by day, week by week, month by month, and year by year, warrior to warrior. That is the absolute beginning, simply because a lot of warriors out there, and I've met a lot of people over my 15, 16-year training career in this. And you can just see that on some level. Remember, a lot of times we're not even consciously aware of what our perceptions or beliefs are about something. We're definitely not aware of the different levels of emotional intensity, the feelings that these beliefs create. And of course, then that has drastic effects on our actions. So when it comes to your perception of whether warriors are born warriors, preordained to be warriors, predisposed to being warriors, or whether they're literally trained, developed, and nurtured, and they've sacrificed to get where they're at, that obviously has a huge impact on what you're able to accomplish, on a limit that you would set for yourselves. And, you know, again, I really hope you'd spend some time thinking about how you truly feel about that, and then spending more time doing research on the Gretzkys, the Tiger Woods, and individuals like that. Pick up these guys' autobiographies and pick up their stories, and you'll start to understand through them firsthand that there's a tremendous amount of sacrifice, there's a tremendous amount of work. This is not just something that comes super easy and natural to them. I mean, obviously, once the work and the sacrifice was there, they were able to obtain very high levels. To me, that's just showing us what we're capable of. Remember, there are individuals on this planet that are using more of their capability. But that is not to the exclusion of everybody else. It really should act as a representation to us to show you what we are capable of with the right type of work and sacrifice. So what I want to do is carry on today, and again, everybody has this framework. And one of the core warrior beliefs I wanted to introduce to you today, again, is really a fundamental belief. And I'm pretty sure that everybody I'm talking to is going to really have this belief. Because it's one of the beliefs that you would have to even get you interested in training. But I really want you to look at where you're at with that belief, the types of feelings you have, and really, again, our goal is to take these things and really reinforce them. This is something that you need to have a very high level of conviction about. You need to really have a lot of emotional intensity when it comes to this subject, and this will have huge ramifications throughout the rest of your training. And the core warrior belief is simply this: the right to life. If you looked at our criminal code, we are all born. We basically, the right to life says this: we all have the right to life, liberty, security, and freedom, and not have our life, liberty, security, and freedom infringed upon. Now that is a right that we are born with. And I want to just put this in perspective for a second, because again, if I asked you right now, when I say, what do you feel about, what are your feelings in regards to your right to defend your life, to defend your property, life, your family, so on and so forth, you probably, yeah, I totally believe in my right to life and to defend my property and stuff. Let's examine this for a second, because it has to be more than just a casual, oh yeah, I totally agree with that. That's not enough emotional intensity. This is literally at the heart of what would drive you to learn how to defend yourself, to become involved in the type of combat training that we're involved in, or to, maybe it even guided you in the choice of career that you're currently in. But here's the thing of it. If you look at our way our legal system works, and you look at our right to an attorney, and you look about right now, when I say that every single person who watches this understands how valuable of a right to an attorney is. If you take somebody who, for most people, would agree that one of the most despicable things you could do is to harm a child, so a pedophile, and no matter how many times or how viciously and without conscience this person harmed a child, if this person was denied his right to attorney, his right to seek counsel, guess what happens to his case? It gets thrown out. It gets overturned. He's free to go. So no matter what this person does, no matter how irrefutable the evidence is, if this person was denied the right to attorney, he goes free. Now think about in the world of how we prioritize, we put that much of a value, our whole society, basically all of North America puts that much value on the right to an attorney. So, and now that is a right that is created out of the legal systems. Now if we look at a right that some would argue happens from the moment of conception, or depending where you're at in terms of the abortion side, which is not what I'm talking about, but either from the moment we're born, so from conceived to born, you have the right to life, liberty, security, and freedom, and to not have your life, liberty, security, and freedom infringed upon. If we would let somebody that we know is 100% certainty is absolutely guilty go because we didn't let him talk to somebody who went to university for 7 years and calls themselves a lawyer, we would let that person go? How much of a priority do we put on our right to life, liberty, freedom, security, and not have our life, liberty, freedom, and security placed, you know what I mean, to not have that violated or infringed upon? Where does that right stand? You need to really look at what you feel about what your belief was when it comes to your right to defend your life, your right to this type of training. Because I'll tell you something, and I think most people should know this, but maybe you don't. There are groups out there right now, very strong political groups, financially funded groups, that are working to strip away our rights to be able to defend ourselves. They believe that that is not a right that individual citizens should have. They believe that that right should fall solely to military, government, and policing agencies, period. There are organizations out there that would want to see this type of training banned. There are organizations that want to take away firearms from responsible firearm owners. Our mayor a few years ago was come on the media talking about wanting to try to ban knives. Okay, I mean, there are organizations out there right now moving forward and trying to take away some of our civil liberties, things that we might take for granted. And I'd ask to you, if you truly do have a conviction in your right to defend your life, are you and do you and have you ever belonged to an organization, or currently belong to an organization, or gone to rallies, and basically have been the opposing force to stand up to these groups and prevent them from taking away those civil liberties that we value so much? What are the things that we're doing every single day? What are our actions that basically will ensure not only our continued rights to participate in this type of training, to carry and bear arms in a responsible manner, to defend our lives and the lives of our loved ones? What are we doing every single day? How much do we value this? Our freedoms and our rights were brought to us on the blood of others. What are we doing every single day to make sure that we will sustain those rights for our kids, for the rest of our lives, for the future? If we truly value those and we have that to a level of conviction, one of the simple ways is by understanding and never taking our great fortune to be able to train in this type of a system, in this type of a mentality, in this type of a warrior's life. We have the right to form and belong to and expound and expose on the virtues of a warrior community. Not everywhere in the world is that lucky. So I want you to take a thought on that. I want you to think about it. I want you to really get a sense of where that lies in your level of conviction, because I'll tell you what, when it comes time to be able to defend your life or have to defend your life, if at one of your core beliefs, your very fundamental gut level, you have believed to the level of conviction with that right emotional intensity, you understand the right to defend your life, liberty, and freedom, and to not have that infringed upon, that makes you a whole different animal. All right, until next time, take care and come what may.